Monkey D. Straw Hat. Luffy is a fictional character and the main protagonist of the One Piece manga series created by Eiichiro Oda. Luffy is introduced in One Piece Chapter 1, Romance Dawn, first published in Japan's weekly Shōnen Jump magazine on July 19, 1997, as a young boy whose body gains the properties of rubber after he inadvertently eats a supernatural fruit called the Gum fruit, one of many devil fruits that can be found in the universe. In One Piece, Luffy sails from the East Blue to the Grand Line in search of the legendary treasure One Piece to succeed Gol.D. Roger as the king of the pirates. He is the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates, and along his journey, he recruits new crew members with unique abilities and personalities. He fights several antagonists, such as the seven warlords of the sea and the world government, during his travels, while also aiding and befriending the locals of various islands. Luffy has a cheerful demeanor but is quickly serious when fighting. Luffy is able to use the elasticity of his body to concentrate his strength and power to execute a diverse range of attacks, the most prominent being his signature Gum pistol, in which Luffy slingshots his punches at opponents from a distance. As the protagonist, Luffy appears in most of the episodes, films, television specials, and OVAs of the anime series One Piece, as well as several of the franchise's video games. Due to the series' international popularity, Luffy has become one of the most recognizable and iconic anime characters in history. Outside the One Piece franchise, Luffy has had an appearance in the crossover manga Cross Epoch, and in a collaborative one-shot manga with Toriko. He has also been the subject of other parodies, and has appeared in various special events throughout Japanese pop culture. Appearances: Monkey D. Luffy first appears as a young boy living in Windmill Village who befriends the pirate red-haired Shanks, intending to become one himself. Before the series narrative begins, he accidentally eats the gum fruit, gaining rubber powers as a result, and is later saved by Shanks from being eaten alive by a sea king, a large sea beast. 10 years later, Luffy leaves the village in search of a treasure known as the One Piece and to become king of the pirates. Sailing alone, Luffy meets a swordsman named Roronoa Zoro, the ocean navigator and thief Nami, the cowardly marksman and liar Usopp, and the chivalrous chef Sanji, whom he invites to join his crew despite their initial objections. He also encounters and defeats several pirates in the East Blue, such as Buggy the Clown and the Fishman Arlong, thus gaining notoriety among the general people and the attention of the pirate-hating Marines. Luffy later accepts an offer to return the Princess of Alabasta, Nefertari Vivi, safely into her homeland to stop a rebellion incited by a member of the Seven Warlords of the Sea and leader of the crime syndicate Baroque Works, the Crocodile. After defeating Crocodile, Luffy allows Crocodile's subordinate Nico Robin to become his ally. Continuing his journey, Luffy finds a reindeer doctor named Tony Chopper on Drum Island, who also joins his crew. While visiting Skypiea, the crew gets drawn into a War II races and Luffy defeats the God Enel, ending the war. Luffy meets Navy Admiral Aokiji and is easily defeated. After learning about Robin's heritage, Luffy continues to face other enemies linked to her heritage, such as Frankie, a cyborg who eventually becomes Luffy's ally, and the intelligence agency Cypherpol No. 9, who causes Luffy and his crew to save Robin at Enies Lobby. After the fight with CP9, Frankie joins the crew. Entering the Florian Triangle, Luffy encounters a skeletal musician named Brook and, to return Brook's shadow, defeats the warlord Gecko Moria. After releasing the rest of the island's prisoners, Brook becomes a member of Luffy's crew. A crew goes to the Sabrody archipelago and have Silver's rayleighed the Thousand Sunny to enter the second half of the Grand Line. However, Luffy's encounter with Admiral Kizaru and the warlord Bartholomew Kuma results in Luffy and his crew being sent to separate parts of the world. Stranded on Amazon Lily, an island ruled by the warlord Boa Hancock, Luffy moves Hancock with his bravery and selflessness. Hancock falls in love with Luffy and helps bring him to the underground prison Impel Down to rescue his brother Portgas Ace from being executed. Luffy breaks into the prison and meets previous foes as well as new allies, such as the former warlord Jinbei. After Luffy liberates the prisoners, they arrive at Marineford and Luffy is drawn into a war between the Navy and Whitebeard's pirate crews. However, Ace saves Luffy at the cost of his own life, and Luffy and Jinbei are evacuated from Marineford by Trafalgar Law. Returning to Amazon Lily, Luffy remembers how he first met Ace. After Shanks leaves Windmill Village, Luffy's grandfather leaves him in Bandit Curly Dardan's care. He befriends Ace and Sabo during this time, who become his Bond brothers. However, Sabo is killed by one of the world nobles. After returning to Marineford to send a hidden message to his crew, Luffy undergoes training with Rayleigh on the island Ruskina in an effort to become stronger. 2 years later, Luffy regroups with the Straw Hats, but the crew gets separated again for a short period while sailing to Fishman Island. Luffy and the others meet Jinbei and the island's Princess Shirahoshi, and are drawn into a battle for the island against Fishman Hoddy Jones. Luffy and the crew, along with Jinbei, eventually regroup and conceive a plan to defeat Hoddy and his henchmen. Following Hoddy's defeat, Luffy retrieves the stolen treasure from the rookie pirate Caribou and starts a feud with Big Mom. A crew enters the New World. Luffy, Zoro, Usopp and Robin disembark on Punk Hazard but are soon captured by Caesar Clown, a jealous rival of the scientist Vegapunk. Luffy and his crew organize an alliance with Trafalgar Law to defeat Caesar. Eventually, Luffy defeats Caesar after learning about his history. Holding Caesar as a hostage, the alliance lands on Dressrosa, the kingdom of Don Quixote do Flamingo, where Luffy enters a tournament to win Ace's Devil Fruit. Creation and conception. When Eiichiro Oda created Luffy, he wanted to strive for a manliness quality similar to those found in the Dragon Ball series created by Akira Toriyama. Oda has claimed that at the time of naming Luffy, he did so because he felt the name Luffy was right for his main character. Later Oda found out there is a maritime term called a luff and has insisted this is pure coincidence, but one he was delighted by. In his prototype one-shots, each titled Romance Dawn, Oda was constantly refining the art style and basic story elements before publishing the final product a year later in what would be the first chapter of One Piece. In the second version of Romance Dawn, Luffy was drawn in an art style that was similar to his design in the beginning of the series. To make the readers relax without being stressed out, Oda added rubber powers to Luffy for a comical effect. Oda tries to draw Luffy very straightforward about what he wants to be and how he feels. The devil fruit that Luffy gained his abilities from was originally called the Gomu no Mi, but after the editor pointed out that a real rubber fruit existed, the name was changed to the Gomu Gomu no Mi. Design. Luffy is usually recognized by his straw hat, which is given to him by red-haired Shanks after being rescued from an attack by a Sea King. In his early childhood, Luffy is first introduced wearing a white shirt and blue shorts. He has a scar under his left eye from stabbing himself to prove his courage to Shanks and his crew. However, for most of the series, Luffy is commonly seen wearing a red vest, blue shorts and sandals. On occasion, Luffy will adorn different outfits to adapt to the climate of specific islands on the Grand Line, such as wearing a coat and mittens at Drum Island and wearing desert-appropriate attire at Alabasta. Eventually, Luffy replaces his vests with a red unbuttoned sea captain's coat, revealing the X-Scar which he got from Akainu, and he also wears a yellow sash tied around his waist. Personality: Luffy is portrayed as a carefree and happy-go-lucky character with great ambitions and a huge appetite. He often thinks with his stomach and gorges himself to comical levels. He is caring and generally good-hearted. However, he is not as naive as many people believe him to be, showing more understanding in situations than people often expect. Knowing the dangers ahead, he is willing to risk his life to reach his goal to become the king of the pirates and protect his crew. He might not be as stupid as he appears. An example of when he does something intelligent would be when he attempted to use Newton's third law by using a ship's cannon to try and stop the ship. Moreover, during the Log Town arc, Smoker comments that Luffy enjoys playing stupid, to which Luffy responds with nothing more than a mysterious smile. He invites several people, such as Chopper or Brook, onto his crew generally for their personality but also because of his instinctual ability to be able to read people. His main reason has been stated a few times in the story. He needs several key jobs filled in his crew that each individual crew member fulfills. Luffy stated in the beginning of the series that he wants at least 10 crew members, each with abilities that he feels necessarily for his goal. Each members of the crew respect him in their own way despite his carefree personality. He is rarely concerned with the consequences of his actions, doing what he feels even if it leads to retaliation by a powerful force. However, he is an extremely loyal captain, who has demonstrated at many points throughout the series that he is willing to risk his life for the well-being of his crew. Voice actors. In the original Japanese version of the entire One Piece anime series, Luffy is voiced by Mayumi Tanaka. In the OVA Defeat the Pirate Ganzak, Luffy was voiced by Urara Takano. In the numerous English versions, Luffy is played by different actors because different companies produced the dubs, by reason of changes of ADR companies and recording studios. Luffy has been voiced by Chuck Powers in Odex's dub of the first 104 episodes of One Piece, by Erica Schroeder in 4Kids Entertainment's dub of the first 143 episodes of One Piece, and by Colleen Klinkenbeard in Funimation's dub of the entire One Piece franchise. Abilities. Luffy's rubber powers are a result of eating the gum fruit, which makes him virtually immune to nearly every blunt force and electric-based attack, and grants him the ability to stretch his body at will. Combined with the elasticity of his body, he uses that ability to accelerate parts of the whole of his body as if shot by a slingshot to deliver punches, kicks, headbutts, body checks, or simply for propulsion. As with other devil fruit uses, Luffy is unable to swim, and when he is submerged in water it can negate his powers, as well as Sea Prism. In addition to his devil fruit powers, Luffy possesses immense strength and endurance. Luffy's signature move is the Gum Pistol, Gomu Gomu no Pizitoru, a punch technique which he learned during his years of training. Another technique developed later in the series is second gear Gia Secondo, a technique that increases his strength and overall speed for a limited amount of time, but can strain his body afterwards. By observing the shave technique of CP9, Luffy was able to adapt the move with his own rubber body, matching the speeds of the elite assassins. Third gear Gia Sado, another technique, uses air inflated into his bone structure to attack with massive limbs and strength, but initially causes him to shrink afterwards. He is capable of using both techniques simultaneously. After 2 years, Luffy has gained better control over these techniques and is no longer affected by their drawbacks. Eventually, Luffy develops his latent ability to use Haki. This ability has 2 main types: armament Haki, which is an armor-like force that can amplify defense and the force of attacks and negated Devil Fruit users' defense, allow physical contact and damage, and observation Haki, which is a sixth sense that can read a person's moves and detect the presence. He also has a rare third type, the Conquering King's Haki, which can render people or animals in his proximity unconscious. 2 years later, Luffy masters the 3 types of Haki, and uses them in conjunction with his improved attacks. Also, as a result of his encounter with Magellan, Luffy has also developed an immunity to poison. He also develops another technique, 4th gear Gia Fosu, which is similar to Gear 3rd, as Luffy inflates his missiles to increase the size of his limbs and imbues his arms and chest with armament Haki, engulfing other parts of his body with it as well when needed. In this state, Luffy can execute highly destructive moves by compressing his limbs then releasing them instead of stretching. He can also fly in this state in a similar fashion to CP9's moonwalk technique. Appearances in other media. Luffy has made several appearances in other media, including, but not limited to, every One Piece licensed electronic video game to date, including Jump Superstars and Jump Ultimate Stars. In 2006, he is featured in the Dragon Ball Z One Piece Naruto crossover game Battle Stadium DON. Luffy, along with Son Goku and Naruto Uzumaki, made guest appearances in avatar form in the MMORPG Second Life for a Jump Festa promotion titled Jumpland at Second Life. In addition to his in-game appearances, Luffy has also been featured and mentioned in some songs. Wanted features Luffy singing about himself as a wanted pirate. Every One Piece features Luffy singing about the One Piece. Luffy is one of the main playable characters in the crossover game J-Star's Victory vs. Luffy has made guest appearances in various Japanese television shows and manga. Luffy and several other characters would team up with the cast of Dragon Ball in a spin-off titled Cross Epoch. On April 3, 2011, Luffy and the other One Piece protagonists appear premiere episode of the Toriko anime series and the crossover manga chapter. In the Yakutate Japan manga, Kuroinagi turns into a Tenabi man as a reaction from trying Azuma's Japan dumpling. To this effect, he dons a straw hat and starts stretching his arms like rubber to great lengths. Luffy makes a cameo appearance in a weekly Shōnen Jump binding in an episode of To Love Ru. The Gum Gum was referenced in the 50th episode of the Gintama anime series. Luffy has also appeared in the popular webcomic VG Cats. In 2008, Toei Animation sponsored the Pallavolo Modena Italian volleyball team. To represent the sponsorship, Pietro Rinaldi's and Edoardo Ciabattini's traditional black uniforms were emblazoned with an image of Luffy on the front. He was featured in the cover of the January 2010 issue from the Japanese fashion magazine Men's Non-No, becoming the first manga character to appear in the cover of such magazine. His new clothes were designed by Shinichi Mita. Luffy was mentioned in the video game Half-Minute Hero for the PlayStation Portable, where the description of the usable item, Straw Hat, said it makes the user feel rubbery and want to become a pirate. In the manga Rockies, Luffy's image appears on a girl's cell phone strap during a graduation ceremony. There is also a reference to Luffy in the online MMORPG Eiichiro Online. In-game, there is an NPC wearing Luffy's style of clothes named Monkey C. Lupus 3, and even has a title above his head saying, Future King of Pirates. In the MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV, players who choose Limsa as the starting city get to see an NPC pirate in the intro scene who wears clothes similar to Luffy. Merchandise. Besides being featured in pieces of merchandise based on the One Piece, he has appeared in crossover figurines which show him along with Dragon Ball and Toriko characters. Reception. Luffy ranked first in all 3 Shōnen Jump character popularity polls. Mayumi Tanaka, Luffy's Japanese voice actor, comically mentioned she feels sorry for making Luffy's voice due to the fact she is a mother while Luffy is much younger. When asked about how she does Luffy's voice, Tanaka replies that she strives for reality during scenes that the character talks while eating or while touching his nose. Funimation Entertainment's Mike McFarland and Christopher Sabat both stated that they felt that Luffy was more likable than the Dragon Ball character Son Goku. In the Society for the Promotion of Japanese Animation Awards from 2008, Luffy was nominated for the category Best Male Character. However, he lost to Ichigo Kurosaki from Bleach. He was also 22nd in IGN's Top 25 Anime Characters of All Time by writer Chris Mackenzie. NTT customers voted him as the second favorite black-haired male anime character. The Gum Gum Gatling technique has ranked appearances in a Japanese survey that featured the most popular moves in manga and anime. It was first in the male category. Luffy's character has also been received positively by publications from several media. THEM Anime Reviews calls Luffy likable, goofy, and an idealist with an infectious optimism. In a review for the 4th One Piece movie, Dead End Adventure, the Star Online describes Luffy as an airhead and brilliant fighter. Rika Takahashi from X comments that Luffy's character with his stretching powers is what sets One Piece apart from the old stereotypical adventure manga and the many other combat-oriented mangas, turning the series into something new and interesting. On the other hand, Anime News Network writer Zach Berchi found Luffy reminiscent to Rurouni Kenshin's character Homura Kenshin due to the personalities and attitudes. However, he still noted Luffy to be entertaining. Mania Entertainment's Bryce Coulter called Luffy a great shonen hero. Carl Kimlinger from Ann comments that Colleen Klinkenbeard's Luffy continues to grow on you. There is a meme involving the character Luffy. In a weekly Shonen Jump manga, Sugehagi Yusaka, a character that looks like Luffy, claims, instead of saying what you hate, say what you like. Quote, in the One Piece manga, Luffy cited but changed it to, instead of saying what you like, say what you hate. Quote, this meme was acknowledged in the crossover fighting game J-Star's Victory vs.